Hi everyone, good evening and welcome to this session. Today we are here to discuss one of the most crucial crossroads in a student's life, what lies beyond class 12. With countless career paths available, choosing the right one can be exciting yet overwhelming. When you are more younger than today, people often ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, as you stand at the doorstep of the higher education, that question becomes real. The good news, there is no single or right answer, only the right path for you. The choices you make after class 12th will set the foundation for your future, and this needs to be understood. But remember, careers are not just about degrees, they are more about passion, skills, purpose. So, today in this session, we'll navigate through different options that will help you make an informed and a confident decision. And hopefully, by the end of the session, you'll have more clarity, confidence, and a roadmap for the future. So, with that note, allow me to set the agenda for the session today, and then we'll quickly get on going. And I'm sure you'll have questions around your career choices, or maybe what do you want to do in class 11th and 12th if you're in class 10th right now. So, we'll take those questions as well. So, with that note, let me first quickly set the agenda for the session and we move ahead and do the session. So, broadly speaking, what I'm going to cover today is how careers are decided. I think that needs to be understood first because there is based on my observation while traveling across the country, doing multiple sessions over the years, I have realized one thing that a lot of students do not make informed decisions actually, and it is also to do with how they decide their career. They are also getting influenced, so that aspect we'll look into. Then I'm going to share some insights from certain research done by different organizations, and we'll specifically talk about in the Indian context the skills India is looking forward to. So that is also very very important from a career perspective. We'll definitely look at what are the some critical questions which you need to answer at this stage, and we'll evaluate career choices as well. So that would be the flow of the session for today. So first thing first is to understand how career decisions are made. Are we really independent at this stage to make a very informed choice? And are we really doing that? I don't believe so because, and this comes from my experience while interacting with students, parents, educators, the different stakeholders in a student's life. Actually, I do a lot of sessions, and that is why this comes with conviction. So I travel a lot of cities, I do a lot of sessions in schools across the country. And over the years, I have learned that nothing has changed much to a larger extent. While, of course, in some cases, that freedom is available on how a student is going to decide his or her career, but largely it is still getting influenced one way or the other. And whether we agree or not, parental pressure still is one of the aspects we should not forget because that is something which is still happening. The influence is still there. It is not so direct at this point of time, with a lot of parents giving that freedom, but somehow the influence does happens. तो कई बार क्या होता है ना कि पेरेंट्स जब डिस्कशंस होते हैं अबाउट द करियर चॉइसेस ऑफ देयर वार्ड्स, their children, somehow they talk about only the information which they have. And I'm not saying they are wrong about all this, but parental pressure remains. So it may happen in different ways. Your parents coming back from office talking about different certain choices which they have come across because someone in their office is talking about that his son or daughter has made it to somewhere, and that keeps on happening actually. The other aspect is to look at the peer pressure, of course. So we are influenced by our peer group, our batchmates, our classmates, and many a times we make our decision based on what others are doing. So as you can see in a lot of the numbers which you come across for different competitive examination, not everybody is looking forward to that probably, but the lack of understanding probably forces them, and when they look at the peers they believe that somehow they have made a right career path for themselves or chosen a right career path for themselves. I should copy that actually, and we believe that our skills might be similar to my peer, and that's one of the ways students makes their choices. And if not more, at least there is one more problem, which is information overload in today's time. With internet facility available, there is access to a lot of information which is there. But do we really know that all the information which is present out there, and which probably I believe is the one which is suited for me? So ये जो confusions है ना, ये हमेशा से रहे हैं, और आई थिंक मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले बहुत समय तक ये confusions हमेशा रहेंगे. जो डिसीजंस हैं वो लार्जली बहुत सारे अदर फैक्टर्स पे डिपेंड करते हैं. बट इन सब में क्या होता है कि द स्टूडेंट रिमेन्स ऑलवेज इन द कंफ्यूज स्टेट ऑफ माइंड. तो हमेशा वो कंफ्यूजन बना रहता है. वैसे गलत नहीं है, थोड़ा सा इंपॉर्टेंट है इस चीज को समझना, बट द पॉइंट हियर इज कि फॉर हाउ लॉन्ग विल रिमेन इन दैट कंफ्यूज स्टेट. बिकॉज when you look at the competition today in every field, I think the early understanding of the choices become very, very important. So I so when I talk to youngsters in a physical forum, I always tell them our time was completely different. It was so easy to make it to the different universities. I'm not talking about a very long time, I'm talking about just 2 decades. So it was very easy to make it to some of the best universities. The competition was less, but today it's getting very, very competitive. Because from my time and today's time, one thing I have realized, the intake to the institutions have not changed, so that remained the same. Whereas the pressure, because there are a lot of students now completing their schooling, so the gross enrollment ratio of our country has improved. तो बहुत सारे students अब class 12 complete करते हैं ना, तो वो अपने choices जब बना रहे हैं, तो वो ultimately देख रहे हैं कि वही सारे choices हैं. But अच्छे colleges में सभी को जाना है. Everybody wants to be in a good college, in a good university. So the problem remains that way actually. Then there are certain other problems as well. So it is not just about how we make our decisions. I'll come back there, but there are certain new age confusions as well. What are these confusions? The opportunities keep on evolving actually, and there are opportunities which have become extinct, which I know about. If I talk about my time, there are certain opportunities which have emerged in the last one and a half decades. So if you look at what's happening, yeah, and you'll understand that the opportunities over a period of time keep on evolving, and we have to keep ourselves updating at the same time as well. Now look at some of the jobs which were non-existing when you were a kid actually. So probably if I go back 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, some of the even you were not born at that point of time in some of your cases who are attending the session, some of these job opportunities were non-existent. Nobody would talk about social media managers or social media marketing probably 15 years ago, but today it is a requirement for business. Everybody is looking forward to having some sort of understanding on how to market products, services on social media, because this is where the consumer base is. So this has evolved as a greater opportunity today. In fact, a lot of B school youngsters, when I interview them, they would definitely want one thing which I have found common in their resumes is कि उनके हर किसी स्टूडेंट के सीवी में कोई ना कोई सर्टिफिकेशन डेफिनेटली होता है सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग या डिजिटल मार्केटिंग को लेकर के. So this is one of the in things today, but it was non-existent 15 years ago. तो सिचुएशन इवॉल्व करती जाती है, अपॉर्चुनिटीज इवॉल्व करती जाती हैं. वी आर जनरेटिंग ट्रिलियंस ऑफ डेटा एवरी ईयर, बट हाउ डू वी मेक सेंस ऑफ डेटा? टुडे वी हैव डेटा साइंटिस्ट डूइंग दैट जॉब फॉर अस. दे इवैल्यूएट, दे एनालाइज द डेटा एंड प्रेजेंट इट टू अस इन अ मीनिंगफुल फॉर्मेट दैट कैन मेक सम सेंस. डेटा तो जनरेट होता रहेगा, बट उसको जनरेट करने का फायदा क्या है जब तक इफ यू डू नॉट अंडरस्टैंड what the data is conveying to us. So somebody is doing that job for us, non-existent few years ago. Mobile app developer, ये बहुत जल्दी extinct हो जाएगा. We all understand, because today in the world of AI, it is a child's job to create an app actually. Today a child, if he understands and if you make him understand the right prompts, I think the coding has become so easier today. So everybody can do this job. Cloud architecture, information security analyst, not to forget content creators. Earlier people would when they would write something, they would struggle to make a career of it actually. Today people are writing, people are creating content, visual content, web content, and they are making money out of it actually. Environment sustainability manager, we are becoming conscious now. We do understand the implications of environmental degradation, so we are working towards that. Drone operators in defense system, outside of the defense system. This is how technology is changing the future. Driverless car engineers, somebody working towards creating cars which do not need drivers. Today in Delhi Metro, we do understand that there is one particular line where you don't have drivers running the train. It is all automated now. So and not understanding, ho sakta hai ki in 5 years down time, in 10 years time, probably this job also becomes exist. You don't need that. The robots will do the job for you. So that can also happen. Influencers, me or the influencers, look how it has changed the entire perspective. Actually, YouTuber today, people are making lots of money on YouTube and Instagram. Earlier it was all about fun, but today people have made a career of itself. And you and I, we do definitely visit a lot of the such platforms where these influencers are posting their content, and we do watch them every time. While for some of us it may also be a waste of time, and but for them it's a career choice they have made for themselves. But my point here is, all of this was non-existent 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or maybe even 5 years ago on a grand scale, or maybe even at a smaller scale. So my the whole point here is to understand that we need to understand that the opportunities will keep on evolving, and we'll have to be in sync with the time. What are the opportunities which I can explore for myself, and how do we stay attuned to that opportunity if I'm really interested towards that. Now the state of confusion will always be there. अब मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि opportunities change हो जाती हैं, so what do I do now? Maybe in 5 years something else will emerge. Should I wait for that 5 years, or should I make a decision right now? Now that will continue to happen. So the only formula which I believe which works for every individual is to adapt. That is very, very important. Today there is a lot of talk around the town that okay, AI will take away the jobs, but are people really worried? Those who are adapting to the AI, they have made use of the AI in their in their careers, and they are moving on actually, and they are doing much better jobs today actually, and they have improved their employability standards actually. So it is important to understand how do we move forward, किस तरीके से adapt करना है. And I think one formula which definitely works in real life is learn skills, unlearn something which may not be required, and relearn something new actually. So that is the state of mind which should always be in, which should be flexible, we should be adaptive. So that's how do we do. Now when I started, I made a point that career choices, the way we decide, is something which goes wrong, and that is what I have experienced by interacting with, over, I would say, with conviction over lack of students over the years now. Now, generally, what happens in today's times, even youngsters mostly look forward to exams. मेरा friend JEE लिख रहा है, तो मुझे भी JEE लिखना चाहिए, and it is all about the syllabus which I have studied in classes 11th and 12th. But do you really have the skills to become an engineer? And is it that you are really looking forward to? Because you believe a JEE is an examination which is based on the content which I have learned in my school. Should I really go forward to that? And then we'll get into a college, we'll study that particular course, and I can make a wonderful career out of it. But we do understand, when we read in media, when we read newspaper, we do understand even some of the brightest kids who have made it to the top colleges out there, or maybe IITs, they struggle over there. And it is not with the academics, it is more to do with they were not suited for that job. It was not meant for them. It was the course was not meant for them. So how do I do? What is the right path? The right path is to begin from a career perspective. What is that one field you are looking forward to yourself? That understanding has to come first. So understanding where do I look forward? आज से 20 साल बाद 30 साल बाद मुझे क्या करना है? What? And now this is not an easy question to answer. I do understand that, but इस चीज को समझना बहुत ही important है कि the first decision in this entire scheme has to be about my career. And then once I have figured out, okay, this is the career which suits me the most, which is where my interest actually lies. In a career, interest is one of the most important aspects, and people tend to ignore this. देखो, career और job में ना बहुत thin line का अंतर है, और वो है interest का. Job सभी कर सकते हैं, करियर में भी हम जॉब की बात करते हैं, बट मेनी अ टाइम्स जॉब का मतलब ये होता है कि जरूरी नहीं है कि मेरा इंटरेस्ट हो वहां पे, एंड आई माइट फील स्टक आफ्टर अ फ्यू इयर्स. इनिशियली इट माइट लुक गुड, बट आफ्टर फ्यू इयर्स यू रियलाइज दिस इज नॉट समथिंग व्हिच आई वांटेड टू डू. But can we change? Not everybody will be that that lucky to make a change, maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. So understanding your passion, understanding your aptitude, understanding your personality, and more importantly, understanding your interest is very, very important. And based on that, you'll get to know about the right career for yourself. And once that is done, then the right way is to look forward to the course which will help you have a good career. So which is the course which is aligned to that particular career. So अगर डॉक्टर बनना है तो मुझे पता है मेडिसिन पढ़ना है, बट डॉक्टर में भी बहुत सारे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं. मैं आयुर्वेदा का भी डॉक्टर हो सकता हूँ, मैं नेचुरोपैथी में जा सकता हूँ, मैं वेटनरी साइंस का डॉक्टर हो सकता हूँ. So which is the ones where my interest lies, and then I decide which is the right course for me. Once that is done, next comes the step which is about college. Of course, colleges do matter. They are brands that they matter actually. Your degree matters over here. So, which is the right college where I can get the right and the quality education? So, once I've figured out my career, my course, then comes the time to decide. Okay, ये जो college है, ये बहुत अच्छा है. This is the right one. This is the topmost college. I should strive to get into here. And once that decision is done, then comes the last part, whether the college admission is based on an exam, based on merit. That comes the last. तो जो प्रॉब्लम ये है कि मोस्ट स्टूडेंट्स स्टार्ट द अदर वे अराउंड, एंड दे आर नॉट रॉन्ग, बिकॉज सभी इंफॉर्मेशन सभी को पता नहीं होती है. सो बट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ डू वी मेक आवर चॉइसेस. सो दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. So what about my career? I'm you do tell me that okay, you are 15 years, 16 years, मुश्किल है थोड़ा decide करना, but how do I make choices? So I think one of the aspects we should always understand is, for everything there is a right stage. At this stage, of course, I have to figure out my career. And along with that, there are, I think, two critical questions which every student needs to answer. The moment we are in 10th, 11th, and 12th, I think there are two critical questions which we need to answer. First, what to pursue after class 12? So once I finished my higher education, once I finished my schooling, what course I need to pursue, and then when to pursue. But before these questions are to be answered, the first thing which you have to definitely work upon is which is the right path for me. So first and foremost is to figure out my career. And once I have done that, we are left with only two critical questions. And this will help me find the last answer, which is about the exam, the admission process and all. We should not get into that in the first stage itself. The first stage is about career and answering these two critical questions when I'm in school in 10th, 11th, and 12th. Because why this decision also needs to be made in 10th? Because based on that, you'll pursue your stream. 11th and 12th में कौन सा stream लेना है? Unfortunately, while we are talking about NEP, we are talking about freedom of deciding the subject, giving flexibility to the student, but that is a long way out. उसमें बहुत समय लगेगा वो freedom मिलने में. अभी तो वो नहीं मिल रहा है. I don't know whether it can happen in next decade as well. So you're still going through the streams. You cannot make your own combination. तो ये बहुत important understand करना कि अगर मैं 10th में हूँ तो मुझे stream decide भी करना है. So that is also important. So these two are the critical question at this stage. I believe every student needs to answer. Now, before I move on, talk about and explore choices, I would want to present certain information, certain data, which are done through research by different organizations. And I picked information from two different organizations. One is World Economic Forum. Every year, World Economic Forum does a research and presents a report which is known as Future Jobs Report. And this is what the outcome is for last year. The new report is yet to come. It comes around April, May. So this is what the outcome they have mentioned. So earlier they predicted that the automation will take away a lot of jobs. And in fact, I remember this was no different when they presented in 2023, but actually they have moved on. So they are predicting that by 2027, machines will take over 43% of the job and 57% will remain with humans. By the 2022, different scenarios were there. So that is one report they have presented. And along with that, another report presented by within the same report, Future of Jobs Report 2020. So they mentioned this, that what are these skills which are in demand? And if you look at these skills, we talk about ideation, we talk about analytical skills, where we talk about leadership skills. I think these are all mind based. So it is very critical for us to understand that do we have the skills which the corporate world, which the business world is looking forward to. So first of all, identifying these skills also become very, very important. Similar research was done by is done by LinkedIn as well. They call it Future of Skills Report, and I'm presenting this from the Indian context. And you realize it is no different from what World Economic Forum is saying. तो वहाँ पे भी मोस्टली अगर बात करें तो यही स्किल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, एनालिटिकल स्किल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, लीडरशिप स्किल्स की बात कर रहे हैं, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल्स की बात कर रहे हैं. So what skills do you need actually? And this is what India is looking forward to, the emerging skills which the Indian corporates are looking forward to based on the same research. And as I mentioned earlier, देखो ये सब जो है ना, ये इंडिविजुअल थिंकिंग स्टाइल्स हैं, तो इस पे वर्क करना बहुत ही जरूरी हो जाता है. While understanding of technology in today's world is definitely important, but these skills are very, very important, and this is what the corporates are looking forward to. तो उन्होंने ही ये रिसर्च में ये बात की है कि हम देखो ये स्किल्स ढूंढ रहे हैं, अगर स्टूडेंट्स में ये स्किल्स हैं, अगर इंडिविजुअल्स में ये स्किल्स हैं, तो दे आर बेटर सूटेड फॉर एम्प्लॉयमेंट, दे आर बेटर सूटेड फॉर देयर करियर्स एक्चुअली. सो इन चीजों को भी अंडरस्टैंड करना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. सो हाउ डू आई गो एंड अचीव इट? To achieve that, it is important to understand that you have a right combination of course and college. But before that, there are two things which I would definitely like to mention. If you're really ambitious, you should also be surrounded by people who are ambitious. तो मैं स्कूल में जब बात करता हूँ तो कई बार मैं बच्चों को बोलता भी हूँ, I joke this around कि probably at the end of the session you might have to change your friends because your friend may not be that ambitious. But it is very important that you surround yourself with ambitious people like you because they will give you that push that you need actually. तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. और दूसरा जो एस्पेक्ट है उसको बहुत लोग इग्नोर करते हैं, is to have a good mentor in your life. मुझे लगता है कि हर स्टूडेंट को एक मेंटोर होना चाहिए. मेंटोर नेसेसरली डज नॉट मीन अ टीचर. बहुत लोग कंफ्यूज करते हैं मेंटोर को मेंटरिंग से. तो मेंटरिंग जरूरी नहीं है कि एक टीचर ही कर सकता है. इट कुड बी योर relative in a profession which you are looking forward to, a known person in that profession. And why you need a mentor? You need a mentor because that person has already done that for himself or herself. तो been there done that वाली स्टोरी है. मिस्टेक्स लर्न कर चुके हैं, जो अच्छी चीजें हैं वो समझ चुके हैं, तो यू कैन लर्न फ्रॉम देम. सो दैट इज वेरी, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड कमिंग बैक, देखो ये जो कोर्स और कॉलेज का कॉम्बिनेशन है ना, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. सो बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स में पढ़ता रहता हूँ. अभी रिसेंटली कुछ महीने पहले एक आर्टिकल आया था रिगार्डिंग द आईआईटीज, द स्ट्रगल ऑफ द आईआईटीज. तो जब अच्छे कॉलेजेस स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं तो इमेजिन करो जो मीडियम लेवल के टियर 2 टियर 3 कॉलेजेस होंगे, उनका स्ट्रगल किस तरीके का होगा. जब सिचुएशन चेंज होती है तो सभी स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं ना. तो अगर मुझे एक अच्छा ब्राइट फ्यूचर चाहिए तो मेरा जो कोर्स और कॉलेज का कॉम्बिनेशन है वो बहुत ही अच्छा होना चाहिए. एंड फॉर दैट you have to go back to that decision making process. पहले करियर को अंडरस्टैंड करो, फिर कोर्स को अंडरस्टैंड करो, फिर कॉलेज को अंडरस्टैंड करो. और मुझे लगता है कि जो कॉलेज है अगर वो इक्वली नहीं तो थोड़ा ज्यादा ही इंपॉर्टेंट है कोर्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से, अगर दोनों को कंपेयर करेंगे. बिकॉज टुडे everything is about branding. So colleges today are brands in themselves, and if you are at the right brand, that mostly helps. तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है, इसको इग्नोर नहीं करना है. तो करियर चॉइसेस की अगर हम बात करते हैं, यहां पर भी बहुत सारे कंफ्यूजन है. देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन. देयर इज समथिंग लाइक पीपल हैव मार्क्ड करियर्स बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट यू स्टडी. तो so what I have done is intentionally I have created this slide. तो this is how people look forward to. This is what the understanding is कि अगर आप लॉ करना चाहते हो तो humanities is something which you study, but the data speaks otherwise. So I'll tell you what happens. So one of the biggest entrances in our country when it comes to legal education is CLAT. CLAT is your gateway to the top law schools, national law universities, some private law colleges, some other government law colleges, but prominently it is for the national law universities, जिसमें National Law University Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Jodhpur, ये सारे आ जाते हैं. And if you look at the statistics, you'll be surprised to know that almost 48 to 49% of the students who appear for the CLAT examination to get into a good law school, they are from science background. In fact, in some of the law schools, the batch ratio is almost 60 to others, where 60% of the students come from science background, those who have studied PCM or PCB actually. And while they were in fact preparing for the JEE and NEET examination, they got to know about this and they realized that this is actually the opportunity I was looking forward to. Similarly, civil services. But a lot of engineers make it to civil services every year. A lot of lawyers make it to civil services every year. A lot of doctors make it to civil services every year. So, did they really study humanities? No. So, there is a common misconception around the choice of subjects or the choice of stream around careers actually. Most of the career choices or most of the course choices you will come across would be subject neutral actually. So law does not require you to come from a specific background, but this is how the classification has been done over a period of time. So there are a lot of opportunities, and kai baar ye bhi hota hai ki people believe that once you take up humanities, you are not left with much choices. But there are a lot of choices available. I can get into a legal field, civil services, journalism, design, communication management, social work, content writing, digital marketing is open to everyone. Even in army, you may not be eligible for the Navy services or the Air Force services, but you are eligible to get into defense services in army actually. Hospitality, the hotel management, tourism, banking services, management, international relations, event management, animation, and these are common for even for commerce and sciences too, because these are all stream neutral choices. These are all subject neutral choices. But over the period of time, the classification has been done such, पूरी सोसाइटी ने इस तरीके से कंडीशनिंग कर दी है कि these courses are good for the people who study only humanities. In fact, many a times there is a gender classification. Hospitality, when we talk about hotel management, I've heard parents, I've heard teachers saying that okay, when it comes to hotel management, the girls are most suited towards this career. But when we go to a good restaurant, when we go to a five-star hotel, when we see, when we interact, we know that the front sales staff, the chefs over there, mostly are males actually. So, well, the encouragement definitely should be there for the women candidates. But then the problem is, see how the bias has been created over time. That nahi, girls ke liye acha hai if you want to look forward to hotel management. Why do you want to get into that? And there are so many other aspects. I think it will take a long time when we get into that discussion. But all this you need to understand that these are misconception, and you have to break that. Commerce, chartered accountancy, company secretary, cost and management accountant, investment banking, market research analyst. किसने मना किया है कि ये साइंस के स्टूडेंट नहीं कर सकते हैं, ह्यूमैनिटीज के स्टूडेंट नहीं कर सकते हैं? अगर मेरे पास अच्छी न्यूमेरिकल अंडरस्टैंडिंग, न्यूमेरिकल एबिलिटी मेरी अच्छी है, माय mathematical skills are good, even while studying humanities I can get into a lot of this. Maybe some restrictions are there, like actuarial sciences, where I have to really be good at mathematics and statistics, but all other opportunities can still be open to the other streams. So where does this all come from? I think there's a lot of awareness needs to be done, and students also need to understand to do a lot more research before they make a choice actually. So that information is very very important. Yes, there are choices which are limited to what align to the subjects which we study. For example, if I have taken PCM, there are a lot of opportunities out there which may not be available to a student who might have not studied mathematics. But with mathematics, my opportunities always increase. There are opportunities which are restricted to people who have only studied biology. For example, medicine is there, environmental science is there, but environmental science can be done by any student who has studied science in 11th and 12th. So there are certain areas where new restrictions might come, but contrary to the understanding where people believe that lot of the lot of choices are restricted based on subject, I think ये understanding होना आज के डेट में बहुत जरूरी है. And it is a job for you guys who are attending this session कि आप थोड़ा research जरूर करो and make an informed choice. What people talk about, they may not be necessarily true all the time. तो ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग होना बहुत ही जरूरी है. So with that note, I would still want to take up some of the choices. I would want you to evaluate some of the choices which are in demand, which are evergreen choices as well. So आज के डेट में इनफैक्ट मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत क्लियर है कि इग्नोरेंट रहना अपने आप में एक चॉइस है, तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए. आपको कंफ्यूजन हो सकता है, आपके पास इंफॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड हो सकता है, बट अवेयरनेस बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. दैट नीड्स टू बी अंडरस्टूड. सम टाइम बैक आई मेंशन वेयर इज मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट, कॉलेजेस, तो वो अंडरस्टैंड करना बहुत ही जरूरी है. तो मैं एक एक करके कुछ चॉइसेस के बारे में बात करता हूं बिफोर वी गो अहेड एंड क्लोज द सेशन. तो सबसे पहले मैं स्टार्ट करता हूं, बिकॉज देखो इंडिया में हम लोग ना बॉर्न इंजीनियर्स हैं, सबको इंजीनियरिंग के बारे में पहले पता होता है, एंड द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द नंबर स्पीक फॉर इटसेल्फ. तो एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन अगर आप देखते हो जेई, तो 14 lakh 15 lakh students एग्जाम लिख रहे हैं. तो everybody talks about, and I hope all of you have watched Three Idiots. The moment Boman Irani had his grandson in his hand, he said कि मतलब उसके बेटे की जो स्टोरी थी कि इंजीनियर ही बनना है, बाद में उसको रियलाइज होता है कि ये चीजें गलत हैं, मतलब बट देन वी आर बॉर्न इंजीनियर्स. बट ठीक है, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ गुड चॉइसेस आउट देयर, एंड इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड रियली, इफ यू बिलीव आई हैव द नेसेसरी स्किल्स, व्हाई नॉट, वी शुड डेफिनेटली गेट इनटू दोस. But very important to understand, we should make right choices about the colleges. Well, there may be thousands of engineering colleges in our country itself, but we should look forward to those 70, 75 top ones, which includes the IITs, the triple IITs, NITs, and some private colleges like Thapar and BITS. It is important to be at the right place. It is important to be at those brands. That is very, very important. So when somebody wants to do an engineering program, whether it is a specialization in computers, electrical, biotechnology, chemical, mechanical, the most sought after choices today, you need to understand you have to be at the right place. There are two kinds of degrees available generally. So you'll come across BE or BTech. BE is generally offered by government institution and BTech by the other institution. There is also an integrated program available in most of these institutions where you can complete your MTech along with your BTech in 5 years duration itself. What do you need for this? You need a greater understanding of physics, chemistry, and mathematics of your higher secondary curriculum, which is your class 11th and 12th, and you'll have to definitely write those entrances. A lot of youngsters want to be want to become doctor. यहाँ पर देखो कोई बुराई नहीं है, बट मेरा एक ही कैविएट होता है कि ये प्रोफेशन उनके लिए है जो मनी माइंडेड नहीं है. मनी माइंडेड है तो आई थिंक आप गलत होंगे अगर इस प्रोफेशन में आप आ जाते हैं. सो दैट्स व्हाट माय टेक इज. यू मे हैव अ डिफरेंस ऑफ ओपिनियन, एंड ऐसा नहीं है कि द मनी इज नॉट देयर. मैं मनी की बात इसलिए कर रहा हूँ कि मोस्ट ऑफ द यंगस्टर्स, दे एक्चुअली डिसाइड अबाउट करियर्स बेस्ड ऑन रेम्यूनरेशन. इनफैक्ट देयर आर मेनी टाइम्स व्हेन स्टूडेंट्स हैव वॉक्ड अप टू मी and they have asked questions, sir ये बताओ आज की डेट में सबसे अच्छे प्लेसमेंट्स किस फील्ड में हो रहे हैं. and I'm really surprised. सिर्फ प्लेसमेंट के बेसिस पे विल डिसाइड what 5 years down the line, even if the placements were good, you may not be enjoying, and probably you'll definitely not in a right state of mind, और वहां से फिर गलतियां शुरू होती हैं. Remuneration should decide, not decide my choice. मैं बाबा स्ट्रेस कर रहा हूँ कि it is all about your interest first when it comes to your career. But coming back, so there are a lot of good colleges out there when it comes to medicine, and it can even be studied in different forms, which I've already mentioned. Minimum 5.5 years का तो academic investment है, but in today's time, unless you do a post graduation, that will not help you up. So this entire journey of education when it comes to medicine takes nearly around a decade. Almost 10 साल लगते हैं एक senior doctor की study complete करने के लिए. More importantly, when somebody is looking into this profession, job satisfaction become very, very important. Job satisfaction नहीं हुआ तो पता नहीं क्या कर लेंगे. So that is very, very important. Now, what is the requirement over here? Here you need to have a background which is in physics, chemistry, and biology in particular. तो again based on your 11th and 12th curriculum, तो वो understanding बहुत ही important है. There is one very specialized institution in our country which is not known to many students. If somebody wants to study pure sciences now, I think this is one of the greatest institutions you will come across. Or this institution is by Tata's. This is known as Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. It is based out of Bangalore. And if you're looking forward to studying pure sciences, for example, biology, chemistry, material sciences, mathematics, or physics, or even earth and environmental science, or if you want to do a BTech in mathematics and computing, this is the right place for you. The admission is again based on the scores of JEE Main, JEE Advanced, and for the biology courses, it is through NEET UG. But this is one of the finest institutions you will come across. In fact, it is rated very highly even abroad. This is one institution you will see across in different rankings. अगर इंडिया का कोई भी इंस्टीट्यूट फीचर करेगा, कोई और करे ना करे, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ साइंस जो है वो वर्ल्ड रैंकिंग्स में डेफिनेटली फीचर करता है. So do explore about this. So depending on the choice you make, your background requirements would be there, whether it is PCM or PCB. But for students really interested in taking up pure sciences, I think this is one institution which should definitely be on their radar. National Defense Academy, which the opportunity is available immediately after class 12th. If you miss this out, then you have combined defense services after completing your graduation. Here there is an age restriction, of course, but National Defense Academy, which is through which you get into the defense services, Army, Air Force, and Navy immediately after completing your class 12th. For a Naval Academy, it is the opportunity is only available to male candidates as of now, but after completing your graduation, even female students can apply over there. Very standard procedure. You have a written examination which is conducted twice in a year, and while you are still in class 12, somewhere around September, October, you can write the examination. You can do it after completing your board exams. So दो बार forms निकलते हैं, आप दो बार apply कर सकते हो. For the Navy and the Air Force, there is a requirement of physics over there and physics mathematics over there. But for the Army, it is open to every student, which means even somebody who has studied humanities, somebody who has studied commerce can definitely get into these services. So once you clear the written examination, then there is a 3 to 4 day procedure if you are shortlisted, which is services selection board interviews, intelligence and personality test, जहाँ पे different psychological tests होते हैं, physical endurance test होते हैं, intelligence test होते हैं, and for people who want to become an Air Force pilot, there is a test called pilot aptitude test, which is generally taken once in life. तो अगर आप एक बार इसको फेल कर जाते हैं तो आपको दोबारा अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलती है. सो बट दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी इज अगेन कॉन्ट्ररी टू द बिलीफ कि नहीं सिर्फ साइंस स्टूडेंट्स कर सकते हैं, आर्मी में आप सभी जा सकते हैं. सो देयर इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी एंड आई थिंक एवरी यंगस्टर शुड डेफिनेटली look forward to this. There's definitely a life which is worth looking forward to. Then economics as a program. तो इकोनॉमिक्स में भी बहुत सारे मिसकंसेप्शन है. इकोनॉमिक्स आई थिंक एक ऐसा कोर्स है, probably there are a couple of courses like law and economics, I believe, which presents lot of career opportunities. लोगों को लगता है कि इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ने के बाद क्या करेंगे, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आप एकेडमिक्स में जा सकते हो, but then there are a lot of opportunities. You can get into data science as well. You can become a data analyst. You can become an economist. You can get into policy making. You can definitely get into academics, research as well. In fact, if you're looking forward to government job, prestigious ones, you have Indian Economic Services. So that's one of the services which is part of the civil services examination. तो एक opportunity वहाँ पर भी है. इसके अलावा there are opportunities in terms of getting into the market analysis. So whole lot of opportunities are out there, but it is the lack of information which does not make this very lucrative. तो थोड़ा research करोगे तो पता लगेगा कि economics is again one program like legal education where you have plethora of opportunities available. These are some of the finest institutions. You have University of Hyderabad, not known to many. It's a central government institution. The intake is very limited, but that's a wonderful one. The only limitation is provides an integrated 5-year program. You have Ashoka University where you can learn liberal arts and take specialization in economics. Flame is there. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar School of Economics, University Bangalore is there. Jindal is there. So this is all after University of Delhi. Definitely I'll keep University of Delhi on top priority. Then liberal arts. State of confusion can remain. So liberal arts presents me that opportunity where I can still explore these subjects and make an informed choice maybe in the third year. So अगर मेरा state of confusion अभी भी रह जाता है despite all the research you might be doing, then one of the finest programs which you can take up is liberal arts. Liberal arts में आपको opportunity मिलती है to study everything again for another 2 years, depending on the course which you might have chosen, and then make a final choice about which subject I should specialize in. So I decide my major and the minor, generally done in the final phase of the second year. Some of the finest colleges in our country, Ashoka University, Flame is there, Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts is there, Jindal Global University is there, and I'm Bangalore. Hopefully, it was expected that they'll start the program in 2025. I'm still hopeful, but I think there is a delay happening right now. It's already March, but the hopefully it can come. The announcement may come anytime soon, or maybe but next year they'll definitely start. They already have a campus getting ready for this for the undergraduate space, and they'll be coming out with a liberal arts kind program where you'll have specialization in economics, you'll have specialization in data science, you'll have specialization in sustainability development. तो ये three fields का तो definitely ये program आने वाला है. So that's another opportunity you can definitely explore upon. Then, contrary to the belief that law is all about struggle, today young lawyers are, I think, the most rewarded ones, and not in terms of remuneration, in fact in terms of the career opportunities they can come across. So unlike 30 years ago, 40 years ago, when the career opportunities were limited only to the field of litigation, which is courtroom practice, today a young law graduate can decide their career path on based on their interest, in which field they have the interest, which legal field they have the interest. One can get into the corporate law firms, one can get into the law firms, one can work in social services, गवर्नमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज देख रहे हैं, जुडिशियल सर्विसेज है, सिविल सर्विसेज है. Beyond that, we have legal process outsourcing, media journalism, international organizations, amnesty and all, mediation and arbitration, legal journalism, tech law, space law, forensic, financial forensics is coming as a new opportunity for young lawyers. So there's plethora of opportunity which is available to young graduates today, and that is why gradually, slow but slowly, the law is becoming one of the preferred choices of a lot of youngsters. In fact, as I spoke earlier, to your surprise, a lot of youngsters who are getting into the law schools are not coming from actually humanities background, they are coming from science background. The moment somebody starts exploring beyond the JE and engineering, they are looking forward to this as one of the opportunities. So that is very, very important for you to understand. Then not known to many. In fact, I would not name the institution, but last week when I was doing a session in one of the biggest schools in Delhi, one of the biggest names in Delhi in terms of school, I was really surprised when I talked to the student and asked them a question: do you really know about Indian Institute of Management? Well, there were a couple of hands raised, and they did mention that yes, Indian Institute of Management are the institution which offer MBA degree. They were not aware about of the fact, including the teachers present, they were not aware about of the fact that you can get into IIMs today, which are considered the mecca of management education in our country, even after class 12. And the program I'm talking about is known as Integrated Program in Management, IPM. So this is the program which is offered at some of the IIMs, and this is the overview of the course curriculum, the pedagogy I'm talking about, and this is the core reason why one should get into an IPM program actually. And to make it more simpler for your understanding, it's an opportunity which you can call as BBA plus MBA. But why this is so good? This is so good because of the design of the curriculum. It's a combination of liberal arts plus business studies. At the same time, look at the ease of selection out there. To get into the IIMs, one needs to, if one wants to pursue the MBA program, अगर मुझे MBA करना है IIM से, तो मुझे एक एग्जाम लिखना पड़ता है जिसका नाम है कैट. और इस साल की अगर मैं बात करूं, कैट 2024 की अगर मैं बात करता हूं, नवंबर में एग्जाम होता है. 2.9 lakh students appeared for the examination, and believe me, even if you're topper of the examination, you are the 100 percentiler, believe me, you'll still not get calls for selection. आपको shortlist नहीं किया जाएगा interview के लिए. You know why? Because this was just one stage. The second stage is very complex. वहाँ जो सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस है उसमें वर्क एक्सपीरियंस देखते हैं, आपको वर्क एक्सपीरियंस होने का एडवांटेज मिलता है, जेंडर डाइवर्सिटी का एडवांटेज मिलता है फीमेल स्टूडेंट्स को, एकेडमिक डाइवर्सिटी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाती है. So if you are coming from a different curriculum, like somebody has studied agriculture or maybe biology related courses, some of these institutions offer them extra points during the selection process. इसके अलावा your 10th and 12th, your past academic records matter most, and you are not told about this while you are in school. किसी ने आपसे ये नहीं बोला होगा कि आपका 10th का स्कोर जो है ना, that will matter when you are applying for the IIMs through the CAT examination. And once rejected, based on that, which you'll not know probably, you'll never get into those IIMs even in future, because the competition will only intensify in the coming years. So it's so complex process to get into those IIMs even. But the moment I start looking forward to this integrated IPM, the program in management, not just because of the curriculum, not just because of the great resources you'll have access for 3 additional years, access to the great teachers out there, it is also the ease of selection which you must definitely look into, because people are not aware that you have an opportunity after class 12th. Hardly 20,000 students took the exam in 2024. तो लास्ट ईयर आईआईएम इंदौर के लिए सिर्फ 20,000 लोगों ने एग्जाम लिखा. So imagine compare it with 2.9 lakh versus 20,000. That's how you should look at it. And more IIMs are coming forward to this opportunity at the undergraduate level. So not just IIM Indore. Today you have IIM Rohtak, Ranchi, Jammu, Bodh Gaya. They all have been doing IPM. In fact, from this year, Indian Institute of Management Amritsar is also starting a program which is IPM. So ये लोग भी एक program शुरू कर रहे हैं इस बार 5-year integrated. इसके अलावा there are other institutions like IFT Kakinada, Nirma University Ahmedabad, Nalsar University of Law offering a program of IPM. Then TAPME, which is again a big name when it comes to management education, they have started a program 2 years ago. और अगर मान लो आईपीएम नहीं सोच रहे हो, a lot of youngsters look forward to the undergraduate studies of management in terms of BBA or BMS. कई लोगों को लगता है कि I might get stuck over here for 5 years despite not knowing the fact कि there is an exit opportunity available. तो आप 3 साल के बाद कॉलेज एग्जिट कर सकते हो undergraduate डिग्री लेकर के. अब बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स करते हैं. But if you have that belief, you can still look forward to the 3-year program. While it is not 3-year at IIM Sirbor, they have a program called BMS, which is 4-year duration. Then Delhi University, Sahid Sukhdev, Symbiosis is there, Narsi Monji is there, Christ University is there, Xavier's Mumbai is there. So a lot of opportunities are there when it comes to UG management program. And it is open to everyone. You do not need to come from a specific background. There are only 4 or 5 colleges in the country which look forward to you to have studied maths in class 12th. Otherwise, it is open to every student. Even a humanities student can go and study an IPM program at IIM Indore, Rohtak, Ranchi, Jammu, or Bodh Gaya. Just wanted to put this thought here that while IIM Bangalore is expected to start the liberal arts kind of curriculum very soon, giving opportunities to students, and IIM Bangalore is one of the top rated IIMs in our country. Last year, they have launched a program which is online BBA. So any class 12 student who is completing class 12 can take admission over here. They have an entrance and they will select 1,000 students every year. So this program is all about being asynchronous. They have all lectures pre-recorded. You are not there to be in campus. It's not a residential program, unlike other programs. आप घर बैठे ये program कर सकते हो. At the end of every year, you'll have to appear for an exam at a certain center, but this gives you a lot of flexibility in learning. And this program is known as BBA DBE, Digital Business and Entrepreneurship. तो इसका जो focus है वो digital strategies और entrepreneurship पे है. You become an alumni of IIM Bangalore, but you'll not be provided placement opportunities. You'll get network opportunities out there. This can definitely become a secondary degree for a lot of students, and that would really help in the job market. Then last but not the least, while this is an entrance exam, I wanted to speak about this. A lot of youngsters are required to write CUT because of the career path जो आपने choose किया है. Probably you want to learn psychology, sociology, or a physics, or a chemistry, or a commerce program. Then of course you'll have to get into some of the finest universities and colleges in our country. अब जितने भी central universities हैं, for them it is now mandatory to select students or to admit students to the undergraduate courses through CUT examination. Even there are state and private universities which are looking forward to CUT score. In fact, I want to give you the statistics, almost 20% of the universities in India now accept CUET. For some, it is mandatory, some it's optional, but they are looking forward to CUET scores for admission. Some of the top universities like TU, BHU, JNU, Jamia Millia Islamia, Aligarh Muslim University, University of Hyderabad, Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya, which is a state university, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, Jawaharlal Nehru University, which is known for its language program. They all have to take CUT scores. They are taking CUT scores for admissions actually. And in fact, 285 plus universities have come on board for the CUT examination, and the admissions to their UG programs are now happening through this only actually. So you do not have any other opportunity to seek admissions. तो अगर इकोनॉमिक्स ऑनर्स SRCC से करना है या सेंट स्टीफन से करना है तो आपको CUT का एग्जाम देना ही पड़ेगा. अगर साइकोलॉजी ऑनर्स आपको LSR से करना है, जीसस एंड मैरी से करना है तो डेफिनेटली CUT का एग्जाम देना ही पड़ेगा. Now, CUT exam is a very differently designed exam, unlike other exams. Here, they test your language skills. There are domain subjects which you have studied in class 12, and there is a general aptitude test. So, in future, probably this will be the only exam we might be looking forward to. And this is one exam which is hell competitive. While it may come across as a very easy examination, but that also makes it difficult because the cutoffs has only increased over the last 3 years when this exam was introduced. But this is your opportunity, your gateway to get into the top universities in our country. So what do you do now? So we can keep on going talking. ये पूरी रात निकल जाएगी अगर हम शायद बात करते रह जाएंगे. बहुत सारे opportunities हैं. But one thing I would want all of you to know is, देखो हर age में कुछ चीजें important hoti hai. And I believe your age, when you are in 10th, 11th, 12th, probably 15th, 16th, or at max 17 years of age, at your age, I think it is very important to understand the job is clear for you, the task is clear for you. You have to focus on your academics, but at the same time you'll definitely have to first make your career choice. Once and that is done, you have to make all the tick marks over here when it comes to the academics. तो academics पे focus करना बहुत ही जरूरी है. So this is what my advice would be: keep your interest open, don't get possessive, keep your options open as well. तो possessive नहीं होना है किसी चीज को लेकर के, अपने options open रखने हैं क्योंकि situation can change. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, opportunities emerging, opportunities vanishing. तो उस हिसाब से that being open is very very important. But अपने interest को हमेशा intact रखो और academics पे focus करो. And if you do well in academics and if required prep for the entrance test, if you have to take one, I'm sure you will have a great career for yourself. So that is very very important. For more information about some of these courses, you can definitely visit lawentrance.com or thecareerlauncher.com. That is where you can get plethora of information about it. My father wants me to do LLB, but I want to do psychology, to which he says there is no scope. तो सबसे पहले देखो, मैं पेरेंटल प्रेशर की बात कर रहा था ना बिगनिंग में, तो ये होता है. सो समबडी हैज कम आउट एंड सेड दिस एक्चुअली. तो डेफिनेटली साइकोलॉजी की बात करो, करियर अपॉर्चुनिटीज की बात करो, बट उसके पहले आप भी एक्सप्लोर करो कि आप किस फील्ड ऑफ साइकोलॉजी में जाना चाहते हो. क्लिनिकल साइकोलॉजी है वहाँ पे, अप्लाइड साइकोलॉजी है, साइकोलॉजिस्ट डेफिनेटली एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है वहाँ पे, हॉस्पिटल्स में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी, रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी, एकेडमिक ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी. तो बहुत सारे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं. पहले फिर भी आप उसके बारे में सोचो. दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Could you prove some insights on fashion law? Fashion law के बारे में तो मैंने अभी नहीं सुना है कि ऐसा कोई स्पेशलाइजेशन अभी अवेलेबल है. अभी फिलहाल के लिए अगर रिसेंटली बात करें तो स्पोर्ट्स लॉ डेफिनेटली इज देयर, which some of the institutions have picked up. Space law is definitely there, which is they have started teaching in educational institution. But fashion के related law तो I have never heard actually. And at least from the Indian context, there are no institution which are teaching fashion law at this point of time. ठीक है. I want to know if there's any course for both LLB and psychology. There's no one single program where probably you can study LLB and psychology. दोनों अलग अलग कोर्सेज है, अलग अलग इंस्टीट्यूशंस में पढ़ाए जाते हैं. So you'll have to make a decision. If you're really interested in psychology, the reasons known to you, then probably first study psychology and then do a graduation in law, which could be a 3-year duration program. ठीक है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अब सीयूटी में बीकॉम ऑनर्स में दूसरा कॉम्बिनेशन अकाउंट्स. हाँ, कल रात को दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी का ब्रोशर रिलीज हो गया. फाइनली अच्छा न्यूज वापस से आ गया कि अब जो जिनके पास मैथ्स नहीं था एंड दे हैड ओनली अकाउंटेंसी, कॉमर्स विद मैथ्स, विदाउट मैथ्स जो स्टूडेंट थे, उनको अब फिर से वापस अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल गई। बट सीयूटी के पोर्टल पे अभी अपडेट नहीं हुआ है, तो कोई बात, चिंता की कोई बात नहीं है। दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी ने ऑप्शन ओपन कर दिया है, ठीक है, सो नो इश्यूज आउट देयर। मिनिमम मैक्सिमम सब्जेक्ट कितने होने चाहिए? पल्लवी, दिस इज इन विच कॉन्टेक्स्ट? यू नीड टू मेंशन दैट. I believe you are talking about CUET. There is no minimum thing out there. The maximum is five. There is a cap of five. Now that could the the combination includes language, domain, and general test. So उसमें depending on the program and the university you are targeting, you'll have to decide वहाँ पे minimum and maximum का जो cap है वो आपको देखना होगा। NLSIU BA ऑनर्स प्रोग्राम अभी जस्ट लॉन्च हो रहा है, तो तो अभी नहीं पता है कि कितना अच्छा प्रोग्राम डेवलप होकर के आएगा। तो फर्स्ट बैच हमेशा रिस्की होता है, बट ये फर्स्ट टाइम इस बार आ रहा है, ठीक है। बीएससी एलएलबी अभी इंडिया में बहुत लिमिटेड है। लाइक आपका बीएससी एलएलबी की अगर हम बात करें, फॉर एग्जांपल दो ही टॉप इंस्टीट्यूशंस की अगर बात करते हैं, तो वन इज भोपाल, इस बार वो एडमिशन ले नहीं रहा बीएससी एलएलबी, एंड द अदर वन इज वन विच इज इन फॉरेंसिक साइंसेस। तो ऑफ कोर्स चूंकि लिमिटेड स्पेशलाइजेशंस के साथ आ रहा है, इट्स नॉट एन ओपन और जनरल प्रोग्राम, सो अपॉर्चुनिटीज काफी लिमिटेड होंगी। सो बी वेरी क्लियर, आर यू रियली लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दैट? दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Is it true BBA course has less potential than BBA Fin or BAF? No, this is not true. It's all myth. First of all, please understand, fintech is one of the areas they teach. So it's one of the specialization they have picked up. So not necessarily mean that the other specialization will not add value. It is first to be taken up based on your interest. तो मार्केटिंग में भी अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स में भी अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, स्ट्रैटेजी में भी अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, ऑपरेशंस मैनेजमेंट में अच्छे अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं। तो ये सब मिथ्स हैं एक्चुअली, कि मुझे लगता है कि फिनटेक इज सो, दिस इज ऑल मिसकंसेप्शंस अगेन बीइंग क्रिएटेड एक्चुअली, एंड वेरी फ्यू कॉलेजेस इन आवर कंट्री एक्चुअली ऑफर फिनटेक, इजंट इट? So we are planning to participate. Do you college for general category? What is the approx cutoff? So till last year, because this year the marking scheme is going to change, so so it will be a different story altogether. But till last year, for mostly the general, if you talk about the DU cutoffs, the maximum marks or the marks considered were around 8 marks based on the combination of the subjects. And for the top 5 colleges, the cutoff in most of the programs, the typical programs, the bigger ones, would be nothing less than 770, 775 out of 800. And not to forget the fact, this was the CUT cutoff. Again, class 12 scores are looked into by Delhi University because they get lot of applications. In fact, I'll take you back to my presentation once again. I deliberately moved forward. Look at this last to last year situation. If somebody wanted to do English honors in Delhi University for Hindu College, which is the topmost, one of the topmost colleges when it comes to BA honors English, they have only 49 seats, but they got 51,000 applications. So of course the cutoff went beyond 99 percentile in CUT, along with an academic score of somewhere around 95% plus in class 12. In some cases 98% as well. BA honors economics, 27,000 applications for roughly around 50 seats out there. So in fact, CUT has not made it much easier for the students. It has actually made it more difficult, because your class 12 focus remains, then your another entrance comes into, and then these institutions are looking forward to both because of the number of applications they receive every year actually. Okay, I think I've covered up all the questions. It's been a long one, but I think this would definitely help you making some informed choices. Thank you so much for taking out, joining today, and all the best to each one of you attending the session today.